Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Hobbydude 007 channel and Model Cars and Coffee with Hobbydude. Today I want to share with you a build from about 13 or 14 years ago, and I had totally forgotten about this thing, to be honest with you, until I was reviewing the flyer for the show we were at in Mooresville, North Carolina last week, and TV and movie cars was the main theme. And I thought, hey, I got something to support that, so I thought I'd break it out and share it. If you did not see it in the video that's covering the show coverage, I want to share it with you now, though. A lot of fun, and it's from a very popular TV show. So let's take a look. Bring your model to life with MCV products. Visit them on the World Wide Web at mcvproducts.net. For over 22 years, the TV show NCIS has been at the top of the ratings and just seems to continue to grow. Well, like most TV shows and movies, automobiles play a big part of it, and I decided when the 2006 Dodge Charger was released by testers that I would do one of these things. So, with the kit in hand, I started by doing the interior, and based on some of the inside shots that I could see of the car back then, I went with a medium gray accents, dark, I think it was black carpet. Dressed it up. The kit, by the way, has a great interior, great decal sheet with this thing too. And from there, I got the body kind of cleaned up and in primer, and I decided to add some lighting to it, wigwags, the white strobes, as well as the blue lights for the grille. And there's another little surprise in there I'll show you too. But once I got all of this together, I started putting together the plan to how I was going to do the lights. Well, I used a circuit board from a train layout, which I used at high speed to create the strobe effect, and I used grain of wheat bulbs. Now, the grain of wheat bulbs I don't recommend because I discovered that after about 2 shows they were gone, they burned out, and then you had to disassemble parts of the cars just to replace them with LEDs. So I suggest starting with the LEDs. But the modifications that needed to be made were to the tail lights. You can see down at the bottom in the backup light section there where the wigwags would be, the 2 bulb outlets that were drilled in there. Same for the headlights, and one of those is burned out and I'll have to be replacing it, and I'll just replace them both at once, and that's fine. Also on the base, I wanted something to hold a crime scene tape, so I broke out a couple of these resin cones that I had found in my parts box, painted them fluorescent orange, black along the base, and that was going to hold the crime scene tape, as you'll see in a minute. Now, to power it, I created a base and I put plugs in the bottom. Now, the circuit board for the strobes was going to be mounted in the trunk, wiring run throughout the entire car, and then the power source and on-off switch would be in the base. But I wanted to be able to remove the car if I needed to, so I put these plugs where they come up through the base and attach to the car from underneath. And because of the stance of the car, you weren't going to see them, and they're behind the wheels. Next, as I was putting the windshield in, and by the way, the windshield in this kit is extremely thin, as I was putting pressure with just 2 fingers on there to hold it in place while the glue set, on the passenger side, I had 2 cracks pop right in the windshield. And of course, I didn't want to have to buy another kit to get a windshield. So I decided, hey, it's a law enforcement car. Broke out the micro drill bits, put a few bullet holes in the windshield right through the cracks. And I think that kind of came out fairly convincing anyway. But one of my favorite parts of it, actually. Then it was time to get it on a base, and once we did, I had a friend of mine come up with some dry transfer type NCIS letters to put on the base. You can see the crime scene tape there in the background, and we'll get a closer look at that on the turntable here in a second. But I had a really, on the driver's side there, area there that just was a little too empty. So I jumped on eBay, found a Gibbs. The head guy found his ID card and added that to the base, and I think that added a little extra to it as well. But turned out to be a pretty nice little display. Well, hey, let's take a look at it on the turntable. And here is our 2006 NCIS Dodge Charger. Starting with the paint, it is TS89 dark metallic blue. I think that turned out really well. It buffed out beautifully, as you can see some of the reflections in the paint there. The glass, again, is very, very thin, so do be careful putting in the sides, front, and rear. The chrome was stripped, and on the wheels I used all-clad polished aluminum and chrome on the grill. The tailpipes were K&S aluminum, and they'll get back around to those there in a minute. I really like the way that medium to dark gray interior turned out in there. I was mentioning about the way the lights were plugged in, where you can see let me turn it back around here a little bit, how it's plugged in. I guess I should have turned it off. You see the wires and the plugs, the jacks that go from the power source and the base back down. And it sits, like I said, very low and mean, and you can't see those jacks. Turned out really nice, I think. I did go with U.S. government tags versus the Virginia tags, and I had my own reason for that. A little dust there. The window glass, like I said, is very, very thin. There's those bullet holes. So do be careful if you're using one of these kits. It makes great to scale, but it is it's kind of tough. So do be careful with that. The power source is built into the base. The circuit board, as I said, for the strobes is mounted in the trunk back here. And there's wiring all throughout the car, which you'll see when the lights are on here in just a minute. The on-off switch is right there underneath, so we'll hit that real quick and let you see those. And again, I've replaced a number of these with LEDs, and you can see they're pretty bright. Right here at the corner of that headlight and on the inside corner there, both of those grain of wheat bulbs are burned out, so I'm going to have to be replacing those with LEDs too, which is not a big deal. But I think they work really, really well. The crime scene tape is commercially made. You can get this. I can't remember the manufacturer or where I got it, but I'll show you that. And someone gave me a spool of that not long ago too. So I've got about a spool and a half of it left. So I got to come up with something else, which I already have in the works too. Turn this thing back around here a little bit. You can see the light above the, or at the sun visor. Then those strobes in the in the grill and down low. And total, this thing originally had like 8 strobe lights on it. 10 if you count the grill lights. And the other one I'm working on, between the blue and the white lights, will have 21 strobe lights. I've got 2 strobe circuit boards for those, and I've already started collecting the LEDs to get that one done. But I hope I don't give anybody a seizure with all of those strobes on it. But I think that just added a little extra to it. And, you know, up to this, I had never built something for a theme for the TV and movie stuff, but I thought this was one that was fun, and it would go with my law enforcement vehicle collection as well. But this one's been tucked away for a while, so I had to knock some dust off of it, and I'm glad I did, because it was a reminder of just a really cool car. And to dress anything up, I went over, like I was telling you, and there's that NCIS ID for Gibbs. In fact, when I'm writing up the entry form, I just put it Gibbs Ride. But that's it, guys. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tag in something else Yeah, stick around a second, you'll see. The companion to the Dodge Charger we just looked at is going to be this crime scene van. It has been one constant in the entire series of NCIS. About every crime scene in every season, this is the van you see that shows up. I think it's kind of cool, and this is the one that's going to have, at my last count, 21 working lights on it. I've got 2 strobe units that'll be going into it. The base won't need to have a power source because the bed or the box itself is big enough that it's going to hold about everything that we're going to need, on-off switch, everything. The kit that I'm going to be using for this one is from SSB Resins, and it is the same year, same truck, everything. So I'm looking forward to getting this one going. The decals were made by my good friend Clay Kemp. He designed, all I did was send him the pictures and dimensions, and there you go. And that base again is pretty much done. There's a few things that I'll be adding to this, and I'll be rounding it out with an official NCIS patch and a lapel pin badge that'll be mounted into the base. But that is things to come, guys. Well, that's it for this one. Hope y'all have an awesome week. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.